Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is very personal to me and I had a really hard time making this video, but I wanted to talk about this topic because it affects a lot of moms, including me. I'm talking about mommy burnout. So I didn't even know this was a real thing, but some of the symptoms of mommy burnout is trouble sleeping, being bored with life, having so many things to do that you are so overwhelmed and you don't even know where to start. You miss appointments, you get triggered so easily and snap at people, are basically angry and frustrated most of the time. If this is you, leave me a comment down below because this was me a few years ago and I knew I had to make a change. So for me, a few years ago, I was working full-time from home. I was managing the household. I had 3 kids, and there was that state where they were all under 5 at one time. And I had a newborn, I had a toddler, I had a 4-year-old, and life was really hard. I was getting no sleep because somebody was always waking up at night. Usually I was the one to get up, although my husband did get up as well, but I was the one working from home. So I didn't have to deal with driving or a commute or anything like that. So typically I was the one getting up. My husband did get up as well, but I felt like I was affected by it more. And then when I did get up, I couldn't go back to sleep. Which led me to being tired and overwhelmed by daily tasks, especially when your kids are that young and you have to do a lot more for them physically. And then there was the getting ready for them to go to daycare, being on time for work, because I still am working. I still work. I work from home. And doing all the things that are required of me at work with the deadlines and meetings and all of that stuff. And then as soon as work was over, I would go pick up the kids and then start with dinner and all the evening routine and, playing with them and all of that stuff. So I was constantly doing something for somebody else. I didn't have enough hours in the day to get everything done. And when I look at what all I had to do, of course I had to put the kids first. Their needs came first. And by the time it got to the end of the evening, I was so tired. I didn't want to put any effort into me and taking care of me. I just wanted to sit on the couch. I wanted to relax. I didn't want to think about anything, schedule anything, do anything, basically. That was where I was a few years ago. So as my kids got older, I knew I had to make a change, especially one time I remember my oldest daughter asking me, what did I do for fun? Because I was always asking them, what do you like to do? And do you want to take this class or take this lesson? And I wasn't doing that myself. And so, when we were playing or talking or whatever we were doing, I remember one time she asked me, well, what do you do for fun? And I literally couldn't think of anything. Like, what did I do for fun? What did I do before I had kids? I couldn't really remember. And basically they saw me, cleaning the house and taking them places and cooking. And I had to sit back and think, is this what I want my life to be like? Is this what I want to spend my time doing? So even though I enjoy having a clean house and taking care of my kids and cooking and all that stuff, I did not want to spend all of my time doing that. I really had to sit and think of what I wanted to do, and I really didn't know. But what I did decide to do is that I had to cut back on the amount of things I was doing for other people and make some time for myself. So I want to share with you some tips that worked for me, and hopefully if you are suffering from mommy burnout, these tips will help you out and inspire you to make some changes in your life. So tip number 1 is to go ahead and put yourself on your priority list. Now I know I said when I had younger kids that I really didn't want to do anything but relax. But this is a good habit to get into. And one of the ways I found time to put myself back on the priority list is to delegate things that I personally did not have to do. So I started my kids on their own routine of learning life skills and also helping me out and helping out the household. So now they are doing their own laundry, packing their own lunches, learning how to cook. There's a bunch of things that they do, and I started when my youngest was 4. So about 3 years ago, I started on this journey, and I have freed up so much time. Tip number 2 is to connect with people in real life. And for me, this was really important because I was working from home, and the only time I actually saw people was when I was picking up my kids or doing the grocery shopping. And most of the things that we do now, we can do online. So we're missing that social connection, a deeper connection with other people, which I think is so important to keep from feeling isolated. So what I did was once I freed up time, I was able to look into some things that I could just do. And I really didn't know what to do, so I tried out a bunch of things, and one of those things were joining book clubs where they actually meet, everybody meets. I joined some Facebook groups, but with local groups where they actually meet in person. And I started going to those events, and I met a lot of people. So if you're having a harder time creating these connections when you have younger kids, I'm gonna leave in the description box down below a link to my friend Carrie's YouTube channel called New Mommy Village, and she talks about how to create a support system for yourself when you have younger kids. So hopefully that will give you some good ideas. If we can meet up in person and do things together, I think women will feel more connected, moms will feel more connected and less isolated. The next tip I have is to create space and time for rest, and create that space throughout your day and don't save it to the end of the day. So what I was doing was saying, I need to get all of this stuff done and then I can rest, because I didn't want to lose the momentum. But what I found out was I got burned out a lot faster that way. So now I create some time and space throughout my day to rest. So although my kids go to school, I still have to get up. They're more independent now. And I still do have to go to work, but what I do now is after I get off work, I have some time to relax. And the same for my kids when they get home. They have like an hour or two where they can relax and do whatever they want. It's not come home and do the homework and do this and do that and then save your rest time to the evening. So I do that now, and it makes such a big difference in the rest of the day. Tip number 4, this is a really big one. It is to let go of control and perfectionism. So when I started delegating things that I didn't actually have to do, it was really hard to let go of the control because they weren't doing it the way I would do it, and it wasn't perfect. And perfectionism varies from person to person, but when you have kids that you're delegating new tasks to, it is never going to be done perfectly, and that was something I had to come to terms with. Tip number 5 is to try new things. Now, if you still enjoy the things you did before you had kids, then try to get back into that. But most of the time, our tastes have changed, and we are afraid to try new things. And that is one of the reasons I created this YouTube channel, because it was something new. It was a hobby, or it is a hobby, and I get to help people by sharing my journey. So that's why I call it the Fun Fab Life, because that is the life that I want to have and I am creating right now. And one of the ways I can do that is by trying different things and not being afraid to fail, or just try things out of my comfort zone. So if you can relate to mommy burnout, I hope these tips helped you. And if they did, please leave me a comment down below, because I would love to hear your story. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.